Chapter 10. Unhappy Reunion. The group passes through Fort Dragonfall, liberating Azura, who had been taken prisoner there. Meanwhile, Hoshidan rallies their troops for an attack.
Whew. I see. No. Once more? Oh.
We've got trouble. Yes.
Yeah. No.
Is that so?
Yes. You abandoned your family and Hoshidan. Now pay for your betrayal!
Corrin seems to believe that he was in the right when he decided to go back to Nohr. Here he wishes that Ryoma and Takumi had listened to him, whereas in the original script, he instead asks them to forgive him. The rewrite also plays up Corrin's desire to protect his fellow Nohrians from the Hoshidan invaders.
Lord Takumi! Uh-huh.
Yes.
True.
Here in Port Dia, we have a new kind of objective, defense. For 11 turns, we must prevent the enemies from reaching any of the 4 green tiles at the north end of the map. Once the 11th turn is over, we win. We're facing 27 enemies initially, but reinforcements will arrive in waves. A careful look at the layout gives us some hints on the locations and nature of those reinforcements. In the west, there's a small wooden bridge going off the edge of the stage that is guarded by Oni savages. At the end of that pier, we see a ship carrying spear fighters and ninjas. On the opposite pier, there's a second ship carrying another group of Oni savages. And in the east, a stone bridge is held by spear fighters and archers. To the south, we see some Sky Knights. More of them will simply fly up over the sea, arriving at various positions across the bottom part of the map. Most of the enemies are programmed to run toward the goal, but a few of the Sky Knights are scripted to ignore us entirely, using the power of flight to evade whatever defenders we might put in their way. On this stage, the enemies mostly don't have skills or special weapons. They're just generic cannon fodder, meant to overwhelm us by attacking from multiple directions. However, there are lots of defensive features in the area around our starting position, an area that I call the box. There's a fire orb, which a tome wielder can use to launch fireballs, and there are 2 ballistae that can be manned by bow users, one to the south and another to the east. Of course, since we only have 1 bow unit at the moment, we can't operate them both at the same time. The fire orb and the ballistae deal damage in an area. They can't kill anything, siege weapons and other out-of-battle damage effects can never drop a unit below 1 HP, but they can cripple the invaders, making them very easy to finish off. Beside the weapon emplacements, at each corner of the box, there are 4 prominent bottlenecks. The enemies attacking from the west have to cross a narrow bridge. The ones in the southwest have to break down part of the southern wall. From the southeast, they have to walk through a small gap in that same wall, and in the east, there's another small bridge. Each of those is a 1-tile choke point that is very easy to hold. All you have to do is plug each opening with an appropriate counter to the enemies in the area. So the solution is obvious. We guard the corners of our little box, we let the enemies crash into us, and we destroy them as they arrive. The majority of the enemies approach from the southwest and the southeast, going through or around the wall at the bottom of the box. Therefore, the 2 choke points on either side of the wall will have to resist the greatest amount of pressure, but they're very close together. If we concentrate a lot of our units around those 2 positions, they can support each other fairly easily. Eventually, we will be attacked by the mini-bosses, Takami's 2 retainers, Hinata and Oboro. Hinata has a few skills we haven't seen before. Triple Threat is akin to Nyx's Counter Curse, but with an even more specialized trigger, and Movement +1 just gives him more range, but his other skills make him dangerous on enemy phase. Darting Blow gives him an effective speed stat of 20 when he's attacking, and Armored Blow negates a lot of the damage he might take from physical counterattacks. Luckily, he doesn't have a ton of raw attack, so he's only a major threat if we let him double a squishy target. Oboro is usually the more dangerous of the pair. Nohr Enmity gives her 3 extra damage against every character whose starting class is Nohrian, which for our current roster means everyone except Mozu and Azura. Oboro has both Seal Strength and Seal Defense too. Any unit who fights her and fails to kill her will be severely weakened, and then Oboro or her allies will probably be able to kill them. As incentives to venture beyond our choke points, this stage does have 4 villages. This one has a dual club, and the one in the southeast offers a Draco Shield. The other 2 give us a Master Seal and a reward of 10,000 gold, but they're sort of behind our natural defensive line already, so we don't really need to extend ourselves to reach them. The dual club is not that far away either, and even the Draco Shield can be retrieved quickly by a flyer. Takami is the boss of this mission. He's not especially fast, but he deals a ton of damage. His personal weapon, the Fujin Yumi, has a whopping 14 might, accounting for almost half of his 31 attack. Quick Draw gives him 4 additional points of damage on enemy phase. Wary Fighter prevents us from doubling him, and Point Blank allows him to attack at melee range, so we can't exploit the usual weakness of bows. Takami doesn't move at all, and he carries an elixir to heal himself. If we want to defeat him, we'll have to fight our way all the way down this pier, and then we'll have to either gang up on him with multiple attackers to eliminate him in a single turn, or else we'll need to send an extremely powerful tank who can take a hit, counterattack, and then finish him off on the following turn before he can heal himself. If we can pull that off, then of course we'll get our precious boss kill experience, but we'll also be able to take Takami's elixir for ourselves. Be aware though that defeating Takami is not an alternate win condition. Even if he's gone, we still have to hold out for the remainder of the 11-turn time limit. And if we don't defeat him fast enough, well, he's standing on a Dragon Vein. At the beginning of turn 7, Takami will activate that Dragon Vein, and it will drain the water from the harbor, making all of the sea tiles passable by ground units. And that's when the obvious strategy for this mission starts to unravel. Suddenly, the choke points stop working because the enemies can walk right around them. That's the twist. The box is a trap. It's not impossible to defend, but playing this map passively just invites a lot of problems. We're not going to do that. Instead, our plan is to rush out, driving the enemies back to their spawn points as fast as we can. We've equipped our team to do just that. However, we have not equipped any staves because Felicia is on the bench. If we're playing aggressively, we will naturally have to split our forces into groups separated by 10 or 15 tiles. It's hard for any healer to keep up with that, and Felicia doesn't yet have the offensive power to carry her own weight in combat. In lieu of staff support, we are bringing some recovery items, but most of the team will forsake healing entirely. Corin, Effie, and Silas all take negligible damage from most enemies. Odin can sustain himself with Nosferatu, and everyone else can just rely on their hit point pools to pull through. That HP is a resource to spend just like any other. The strategy we're going to use is one of my oldest, and it's still my favorite. We'll divide into 3 squads. Our largest squad, Arthur, Effie, Mozu, and Niles, will cover the southwestern pathway, and they'll take out the Sky Knights who approach on that side. Elise will go west with Odin, and together they will conquer the left-hand pier. Because Elise can fly, the two of them can get there immediately, and then they'll be able to go up and down that side of the map wherever they're needed. Lastly, Corin, Silas, and Nyx will go southeast. At first, Corin and Silas will do most of the heavy lifting there, but Nyx will help, and Niles will also tag along temporarily. Azura will launch this operation with her singing, and when our reinforcements arrive on turn 3, she will link up with them to help them clear the eastern pier. If we wish to fight the enemies in the southwest as soon as possible, we'll have to knock down the barricade ourselves.
Here we go.
I'll do my best.
With Arthur providing dual strikes, Effie should be able to kill both of the spear fighters. Silas shelters Azura, giving her the opportunity to sing a second time for some additional experience. Silas now drops Corin in range of 3 enemies, a ninja and 2 Oni savages. Elise goes west with Odin, and Mozu separates Nyx from Azura.
I have faith in you. In the name of justice! This was on me! Nice work! Stand down, fiend! Need a hand? I'll return the favor. Everything will be fine. It's not over yet! I can always count on you. I have faith in you.
We have succeeded in setting up Vow of Friendship. Corin is not rendered useless either. He still has enough HP left over to take a hit from many of the weaker enemies on this map, like the Sky Knights. Silas is supposed to go southeast toward Obro with Corin, but we have 2 enemies in the way, so Niles and Nyx come over to help out.
Together we shall prevail. It's not over yet!
All right.
With a speed tonic and at least 1 point of speed above her base of 11, Nyx reaches 14 speed, enough to double the Oni savages. That's the most important speed benchmark on this map, because it happens to be enough to double the archers, too. It is possible to reach the doubling benchmarks on faster enemies, such as the Sky Knights or Ninjas, but it's generally easier to kill those with dual strikes than it is to double them.
I'll be your shield. Try me off the side.
When's my turn? Huh?
I'll go with you.
I'll protect you. Knock it off.
You saved me.
Effie can simply one-shot a lot of the frailer enemies, and by killing this ninja from the south, she will attract Hinata.
Well, that was easy.
Hinata has 22 displayed attack, but he loses his weapon rank bonuses when fighting a lance user like Effie, so that 22 gets reduced to just 20. Sure, he can double Effie, but he only hits her for 2 times 2.
Glory unyielding!
Let me help. Woo!
Azura must end her turn fairly close to our spawn points to meet our reinforcements, but rather than just waiting, she can earn some free experience by singing to Silas.
Everything will be...
Silas puts himself in range of Oboro with Corrin behind him. Together, Corrin and Silas can kill the Sky Knights with each other's dual strikes, even after Oboro steals Silas's strength and defense. It's essential not to kill Oboro in one round, because we need those seals to activate. Otherwise, Silas will be so buff under the effects of Vow of Friendship and Supportive that most enemies will just ignore him.
Here I am. I can help too.
Thank you.
I'm with you. Let me try.
I won't forget this. This is my chance.
Found you.
Huh?
Huh?
Well,
That's heartless.
what?
No.
Big sister?
Oh.
No.
Lady Camilla! There.
I see.
Yes.
Whatever.
Kill them all.
Let's examine the new arrivals, shall we? First is Selena, also known as Severa from Awakening. In Conquest, as in Awakening, she starts as a level 10 mercenary. Like her compatriot Odin, she has a Hoshidan reclass option. In Selena's case, that's Sky Knight, reflecting her mother's Pegasus Knight tree. Selena has fantastic speed, which gives her respectable combat abilities all by itself, and she has a strong defense growth. However, her strength is mediocre. In general, that's a fine stat distribution. Strength is one of the easiest stats to patch up, while it's a luxury to have good speed and good defense at the same time. Unfortunately, Selena's personal skill is almost entirely useless. I have played this game a lot, but I have never seen it activate. On the other hand, her mercenary class skills are rather nice. Good Fortune gives her some free healing every once in a while, and Strong Riposte increases her damage by 3 points on enemy phase. That's a really big bonus, albeit one that's not hugely useful for someone who's sword-locked and whose stats are not oriented toward magic. The good news for Selena is that the range limitations of physical swords don't really become a problem until later in the game, when more enemies have ranged weapons of their own. And Selena has the means to escape swordlock. One excellent way is to promote to Bow Knight, which gives her lots of fantastic tools. First, and perhaps most importantly, she gains a mount. Second, with her great speed, good defense, strong riposte, and the high might of bows, she holds up in combat a lot longer than most other characters can after instant promotion. And she can transition to useful support roles. Selena grants a lot of speed as a pair-up partner, and she has access to multiple rallies, including Rally Speed from the Falcon Knight class. Selena can also grow into a fantastic combat unit in her own right. For that role, the best ability she can acquire is Flight, but not through Sky Knight. Sky Knight gives Selena even more speed, but it hurts her defense and it makes her strength problems worse. No, what Selena really wants more than anything in the world is Wyvern Rider. And it just so happens that her Liege Lord and her fellow retainer both give it to her with a fast support growth. If Selena goes the Wyvern way, her natural speed will make her fast enough to double most enemies, her defense stat will become even better, and not only will she gain a point of strength and get access to a stronger weapon type upon changing classes, she will also learn Strength +2 shortly thereafter. To make this happen, all we have to do is staple Selena to Camilla or Baruka through Chapter 13, and then buy a friendship seal from the level 2 shop. Speaking of Baruka, she herself is already a Wyvern Rider. She's about what you'd expect from the class if Wyvern Riders were actually balanced. Baruka has very good defense and skill, but her strength is only okay, and her speed is pretty low. That limits her offensive output, especially if she's paired up. She can compensate for that using dual strikes instead, but dual striking usually becomes less effective as the campaign goes on and the enemies become more dangerous, particularly on enemy phase. Fitting Baruka's backstory as an assassin, Opportunist increases her damage by 4 whenever she attacks an enemy who can't counterattack. It can only work on player phase, and usually it only comes up when she attacks a bow wielder at melee range, or when she uses a hand axe on a melee unit. Opportunist does apply to Baruka's dual strikes too, as long as the lead attacker fulfills the condition. Overall, it's a nice bonus to have, and it works well with Baruka's high skill stat, which makes her relatively reliable with inaccurate weapons like hand axes. That consistency is what Baruka is all about. She's probably never going to be the best unit in your army, but she can almost always contribute something useful to the team. Even setting aside her combat abilities, being a natural Wyvern Rider is a tremendous asset all by itself. Wyvern Riders have useful pair-up bonuses, and a lot of maps strongly favor flyers, particularly between Chapter 13 and Chapter 24. Don't write off those combat abilities either. Baruka may not have a ton of strength, but remember that Elise has way less, and we've made things work with her. Now, Baruka is a lot slower than Elise is, but with sufficient speed support, perhaps from a friend who gives her 3 or 4 points, she should do just fine. And Baruka's native class set gives her access not only to Strength +2, but also Trample and Axe Bear, a total of 12 damage from skills alone. That's an awesome combo, but it's one that can be wielded even better by our third recruit, the Queen of Conquest herself, Camilla. Camilla is the best unit in this game, and it's not close. At this early stage of the campaign, her stats are simply absurd. 33 attack is an amount that Silas barely touches with all his buffs active, but Camilla just rolls up with that by default because she comes with a steel axe and 21 strength. Beyond that, she's insanely fast, more so even than Niles. She has as much defense as Effie and better resistance than anyone else. On top of that, she has not just flight, but 8 movement range promoted flight. Just about the only things you could call weaknesses are her low luck and her uninspiring magic base, but even those are very respectable when judged against the rest of our current roster. Camilla's personal skill is the counterpart of Elise's. Instead of increasing damage by 1 and decreasing damage taken by 3, it's the other way around. I would say Rose's Thorns is slightly less useful than Lily's Poise, just because I find the damage reduction to be less replaceable than the damage bonus is, but they're both amazing. As a pre-promoted character, Camilla is well ahead of the level curve, so she won't get much experience from kills right now. But she's incredibly dominant, and we don't want to just bench her out of fear that she will steal experience. Rather, our goal is to use Camilla to make life easy for everyone else. For example, in this mission, we're going to have her relieve Corrin in support of Silas. She will use her powerful dual strikes together with Rose's Thorns to help Silas score a lot of kills. Now, Camilla has one last ace up her sleeve. Stat-wise, she is on par with someone who trained to level 20 before promotion, but she's considered to have promoted instantly at level 10 or 11. As a result, the experience formula treats her like an unpromoted unit at level 16, not level 21. Because of this mechanic, Camilla's slow experience gain is only temporary, and she can unlock high-level skills from promoted classes very quickly. Other units can get that same benefit by promoting early themselves, but their stats will be a lot worse than hers. Azura has been carrying several items on behalf of our newest recruits. In Camilla's hands, the Forged Thunder Tome is powerful enough to kill archers or Oni savages, while the Fire Tome gives her a more reliable alternative when she doesn't need that much power. The Bronze Axe will go to Baruka, who appreciates the extra accuracy. Selena occupies this ballista, preventing the enemy archers from using it against us. She won't be able to counter their attacks, but she will be in a good position to help kill those archers on our next turn. Meanwhile, Baruka hits up the northeastern village, grabbing the Master Seal. Master Seals are this game's universal promotion item. You can only promote after reaching level 10, so Baruka can't use one yet. That's why it's grayed out in her inventory. Without moving, Silas defeats Obero.
I'm here to help.
No way!
By pairing up with him, Corrin will make Silas fast enough to double the Oni savages. We just need to ensure Silas has a weapon strong enough to kill. In this case, the bronze sword is sufficient.
No survivors.
Nyx can also defeat the Oni savages, but only one at a time. Here, Nyx will pull just the uppermost enemy, since Silas blocks the other two.
I can do this!
I'll do my best.
Assisted by Effie, Mozu weakens Hinata. The numbers have worked out such that if Mozu's attack hits, she will activate Triple Threat, but she can sustain 4 damage from that if she has to.
Let's do this! We're not over yet! I'll crush them!
To finish off Hinata, Effie uses the Iron Lance and not the Brass Knight Hinata. We want the other enemies nearby to be able to damage her at least a little bit, so it's not good if she has too much defense.
Am I too strong?
Let us join our
Arthur sets up right below Mozu. What we're doing here is an AI manipulation. At this position, the enemies could kill Arthur if they could just plan ahead. There's a spear fighter who could seal his defense, and then both ninjas could attack him. Arthur could kill the first ninja on the counterattack, but that would expose him to the second ninja, who could then kill him easily. But that's not going to happen. Arthur and Mozu both have enough strength to kill whichever ninja attacks them first. Arthur using Mozu's dual strike, 17 plus 6, and Mozu using Effie's, 13 plus 12. The AI doesn't see an immediate kill on either of them. It can only achieve that with the second ninja. So the first ninja knows that he himself can't kill Arthur or Mozu, but they can kill him back. The AI would rather not commit suicide attacks when there are valid alternatives, and in this case there is one. The ninjas can target Effie instead, and they consider her a valid target even though they deal no damage, because they can debuff her. Odin and Elise can also join this party. Like Arthur and Mozu, Elise cannot survive if all of the enemies gang up on her. Unlike them, however, Elise can't kill any of these enemies with just her hand axe, so we can't exploit the same self-preservation mechanic to deter them. She is therefore just as valid a target as Effie. To rectify that, we've given Elise a speed tonic. Because the ninjas have steel weapons, they can only follow up against targets with 8 effective speed or less. The speed tonic puts Elise over that threshold even when she's wielding a hand axe. As a result, the ninjas should target Effie instead, since they can double her. The point of this maneuver is that it allows Elise to carry Odin all the way to Takumi on turn 4.
Uh-oh. What now?
You are not alone!
I'll do my best. Don't you stop! Let me help you.
How wonderful.
Back off!
This could be trouble.
My aching blood!
All right, come on. Dude, come on.
We won't give up.
No hard feelings.
Here I am.
Some of the Sky Knights are programmed not to attack anyone, ever. If Nyx had gotten hit by that Oni Savage, the Sky Knight next to her would have seen a kill, but still wouldn't have gone for it.
Please, accept my help.
Now that we've chewed through the first big wave of enemies, we'll want Corrin and Silas to go their separate ways. This is a good time to split them up. The right-hand Sky Knight will fly up next to Corrin, who can kill her using Silas's dual strike before Silas rides away.
How shall we proceed?
When Camilla's crew is covering the eastern approach by itself, the correct sequence of moves is for Baruka to kill one archer from Selina's right side, and then for Camilla to lunge the second archer from the tile northeast of there, that is, the tile 2 spaces east of Baruka's actual position right now, using her steel axe. Then Camilla will end up next to Baruka, and Baruka will be able to one-round both of the spear fighters using Camilla's dual strike. But using the Forged Thunder Tome, Camilla can instead kill the archer at range while adjacent to Baruka. Azura then allows Baruka to change Camilla's weapon back to her axe. Because they get that extra round of combat while adjacent to each other, Camilla and Baruka earn just enough support points to unlock their C support on this turn, with no further team-ups required. Thanks to the effect of Rose's Thorns, Baruka can kill using the Bronze Axe instead of the Iron Axe. Camilla still needs to use the Steel Axe, though. Elise flies all the way down next to Takumi and switches. Odin can defeat Takumi in 2 rounds of combat, but he can't strike first, or else Takumi will use the elixir to heal himself. We have to wait for enemy phase. Very soon, we are going to forge the bronze bow up to +2. If we had already done so, it would not only be more accurate than the iron bow, but also would deal 3 more damage to flyers with its dual strikes, allowing Nyx to use a more accurate tome as well. In fact, we could have afforded that, but we opted to buy a bronze axe for Baruka and forge the Thunder Tome for Camilla instead. Anyway, Niles and Nyx have now done 3 rounds of combat together, and that's sufficient for them to unlock their B support. Niles can go join Arthur for the rest of this battle.
How disappointing.
Show me what you've got. Such a tease. Take this! Thank you, sidekick.
I'll be your shield.
For justice! Two-fisted!
Thank you.
Can we do this?
With the benefit of Effie's big dual strikes, our villager Mozu can achieve a lot of the same things she could do as an archer. It's just that she is usually seeing 80-something hit rates with her javelin, when she could be getting 100% with a bow.
Let me help.
Of the two spear fighters closest to Odin, only one has seal defense, and that one happens to go second. This one without seal defense has a stronger weapon, and he thinks he sees a kill using his teammate's dual strike. The AI does not realize that Elise will automatically block that dual strike, and that also does not consider the fact that Elise and Odin have a full guard gauge.
I'll take care of this. Oopsie. You took my target. This could be trouble. You need a spanking. Don't interfere.
I'll do my best.
I did it!
Mozu's new skill is sadly not very useful in our hands. Underdog provides 15-point bonuses to hit and avoid when fighting enemies of a higher level, but in a typical run of this game, your combat units will outlevel the enemies all the time, so it basically never comes up. Even Mozu is ahead of the level curve now.
Shall we kill them?
Baruka, Selena, and Azura together can hold this eastern pier without any further help from Camilla, so it's time for Camilla to leave. With an assist from Azura, Camilla can reach the Draco Shield house.
How wonderful.
The Draco Shield is a much more important stat booster than the Talisman and the two goddess icons we've received so far because it can dramatically improve a character's survivability against the most common kinds of attacks. The best recipient of it will be someone who has a lot of mobility and offensive power, ideally with 1-2 range, but who has only middling defense.
We have no choice. Don't take all the glory!
How'd you do that?
Your turn.
Nyx stands in range of another Sky Knight. This one will attack her, so she would have to heal up if she hadn't dodged the Oni Savage.
Together we shall.
For his part, Silas does need some healing. He can lend support to Nyx temporarily while he patches himself up. The Southwestern team must pick up the Duel Club, and they also need to deal with a pair of Sky Knights flying up the center of the stage. There's another Sky Knight to the west, but that one will divert to fight Odin.
Stand down, fiend!
The Duel Club reverses the weapon triangle. It is strong against swords and tomes, but weak against lances and daggers. This weapon is a big reason why Wyvern Riders are so good in this game, since it neuters most of the enemies that would otherwise be bad matchups for them. There's a whole series of these dual weapons, but they're Hoshidan, so most of them are unavailable in Conquest, and the two that we can get are unique. Niles heads west, anticipating some reinforcements that will show up next turn. Meanwhile, Odin defeats the boss.
Miscreant!
Don't forget about me!
Defeated by you? Ugh.
Our boy is absolutely crushing it with these growths. He's at least a point ahead in every stat. This situation shows how useful it is for a Nosferatu tank to have good skill and luck stats. Odin gets 92 displayed hit, allowing him to take on all these enemies fairly reliably, despite being at weapon triangle disadvantage.
You owe me one. Let's do this.
Overdid it. Again.
Let me help.
Power overflowing!
Compare with Nyx, who's using a tome with 20 more hit than Nosferatu and is also getting 10 additional hit in tag team. With all that in her favor, her displayed accuracy is just 99. Nyx can kill the Sky Knight using Silas's dual strike, but we actually want her to work with Corrin, because a B support between them would allow Corrin to give her another point of defense, and Nyx will probably need all the help she can get in that department. So Silas rides away, and Camilla sets up next to him, adding enough damage to kill the closest Oni Savage coming off the boat.
Ready for this?
Your turn, child.
I'm here to help.
You didn't have to do that.
I can do this!
Effie can kill one Sky Knight by herself, and then Mozu should be able to kill the second one using Effie's dual strike.
Here I go.
I'll do my best! It's not over yet!
You're strong.
Since that worked out, we're free to move Arthur and Niles to the west. In the group of Oni Savages that just arrived on that side, there's one who carries a throwing club. Niles can stand at the end of that Oni Savage's range to pick him off without exposing himself to any other attacks. Arthur gives Niles enough strength to kill, as long as Niles equips the Iron Bow. In order to punch through 28 HP and 11 defense, Niles needs 25 attack, and the Iron Bow gives him 26.
Oh, please.
After they finish off the last two enemies down here, Odin and Elise will want to head north again. By switching and having Elise do the job, we maximize their mobility.
You are not alone!
That's right. Out of my
With Veruca's support, Selena has enough strength to one-round these archers, and Azura allows Selena to take them out 2 at a time.
We won't lose.
I've got your back. I'll support you. What did you expect?
My aching stud! Be well, friend!
That was too easy. Kill them all. Mistake.
In the name of justice!
Not on my watch!
That was good for me.
This could be trouble.
Oopsie.
I won't fail again.
I'll take care of
Camilla defeats the lead Oni Savage in this pair so that Silas can then kill the one in back, who carries a throwing club. If we left that second Oni Savage alive, then Silas wouldn't be able to counter him on enemy phase.
That's all?
On my
Silas
honor.
doubles this guy because the throwing club makes him more vulnerable to follow-up attacks, but he won't double the other Oni Savage.
Shall we kill them? Hurry up and die!
No hard feelings.
We could have made Camilla equip an axe so that Silas will be able to kill the remaining Savage with her dual strike, but for us, it's perfectly fine to put Silas through an extra round of combat.
Come on.
Likewise, we can deliberately avoid killing this archer with Selena so that we can fight him twice.
We need each other.
Using the bronze axe that we brought for her, Veruca has perfect accuracy.
Don't you dare lose. Too easy.
We want to kill the lead Oni Savage here without using Niles, since Niles wouldn't be able to counter the second Oni Savage on enemy phase. To achieve that, Elise pulls Arthur, who gives her a big damage boost.
Evil shall not prevail.
This should be cool.
Coincidentally, this tactic gives Niles and Odin a chance to progress their support to B rank by battling together a couple of times.
Let's make this fun. Overdid it. Again.
Even with Lily's poison play, Odin takes more damage from the remaining Savage than Elise does, so that enemy should attack him. Camilla and Silas can handle everything coming from the southeast, so Effie, Mozu, Korn, and Nyx are all free to go west. There are new Sky Knights for them to fight, and more reinforcements will come from that direction.
Here I am.
My power is at your service.
This should be quick.
I'm here for you. Oopsie.
Let's leave no survivors. Stand aside!
Silas can one-shot either of the lead Sky Knights. The left-hand one is the higher priority because that pair can get away faster.
Now we can breathe easy.
Depending on enemy movement during previous turns, it's possible for the left-hand Sky Knight to be flying over the water to the left of Silas's current position, but we need her to end up right above him so that Veruca can reach her. In that case, Camilla can lunge her back into the proper location, but on this run, we don't have to do any such thing. Camilla simply attacks using fire to deal some chip damage, but only after making Silas equip his sword so that he'll take less damage from the wounded Oni Savage.
Together we shall prevail.
Kill them all. We can do this.
How shall we proceed?
All right, let's go. Done.
How very annoying.
I believe Ready for this?
I'll crush them!
It's alright.
Were you even trying?
I'll do my best.
It's alright. Don't come any closer!
Thanks.
Arthur transfers Elise to Odin, reuniting them so that Odin can go tank all the Oni savages who just showed up as reinforcements. They just need Arthur to clear the way for them.
Are you scared?
I'll handle this miscreant!
Odin would rather not take another debuff from the ninja. He can prevent that by deliberately picking a different target who can also counterattack. The throwing club will fill up his guard gauge, then the ninja will not only attack into that full guard gauge, but will do so at one range, where Heartseeker applies.
Check out my skills. Thank goodness. I'll do my best. To the rescue!
This could be trouble.
Finally! Yes.
We'll be okay. Right? You owe me one.
My darkness was darker than yours!
There are a few more ninjas approaching from the southwest. We could try to fight them in a very proactive way. However, we still have a few turns to work with, and there are some support pairings we'd like to get going that we haven't really addressed yet. In particular, Korn with Arthur and Mozu with Nyx. So down in this southwestern area, we're going to back up to a position where we can play with our food a little.
Eyes on me. Here I go.
We can do this together!
We want the ninjas to attack Arthur. Arthur will use Niles' dual strike, but even the little bit of credit he and Korn get for being adjacent will help. Elise is also in range, but she can get out of there by lunging.
You are not alone!
Woo! Yay!
Silas, Camilla, and Baruka perform essentially the same routine as they did on our last turn to destroy the second Sky Knight pair. If he's going to be part of the team in the long term, Silas wants to leave the Cavalier class tree eventually. His final class will probably have access to swords or lances, but not both. If you know where you're taking him, it makes sense to have him favor whichever weapon type he's going to keep. Our plan is to send him into Wyvern Lord after marrying Camilla, so we prefer to train him in lances when possible.
We can do this together. I'm here for you!
Kill them all.
Baruka is able to kill this Sky Knight from the north, and that allows her to get to a useful position next turn.
Fine.
Azura has no options but to run away.
You have my support.
Alright, come on. Put up a fight!
The chosen hero arrives! So excited! Odin Dark knows no fear! Be well, friend! You are not alone!
Mozu now has a chance to work on her support with Nyx, and she'll get some bonus experience for killing an enemy who's paired up.
I'll protect you. Don't die on me. Yes! That went well.
We want Corrin and Arthur to fight together against the second ninja, but we want Nyx and Mozu to do the same, and it looks like that's not possible. Unless Arthur removes his weapon, preventing Corrin from taking the kill. Probably. Corrin could still get an unlucky crit after all.
You have my support!
My power is at your service. I'll do my best. Fate is cruel. Appearances can be deceiving.
Nyx is really flexing that 15% strength growth of hers.
Such a tease.
We can't allow the remaining ninja to go kill Nyx. Arthur and Niles can body block to prevent that.
I'll do my best.
Niles is safe where he is. The closest Oni Savage can't quite reach him. This is turn 10, so we'll only have one more chance to pick up the treasure from the northwestern village. Whatever we do, we must keep Elise and Odin close enough to reach that house. At this position, Odin is just 5 spaces away, and that works. By waiting and not attacking, he allows Elise to perform an extra dual guard for more experience. Veruca can intercept the archers on the eastern bridge. She switches to Selena, who attacks the one in front. Unfortunately, Selena is not quite fast enough to double the archers who are paired up.
Let's see what he's got.
Azura can sing to Selena, but it wouldn't do for Selena to kill the lead archer. If she did, the archer supporting him could kill Azura using his companion's dual strike. Instead, Veruca lunges that archer, trapping the supporting archer between herself and Azura. She has a full guard gauge, so the southern archer, who will still be free, will not be able to kill her.
How wonderful.
Camilla doesn't have to take any of these kills herself. She can funnel them all into Silas. Once again, he must use his own turn to kill the only enemy who has a ranged weapon.
On guard!
We do want to confirm that both Oni Savages can actually damage Silas. The guy with an iron club hits him for 2, but that'll be reduced to 1 when Silas is adjacent to Camilla because of Rose's thorns.
I'll take care of this.
I've got your back. Huh? Don't even think about it.
You have my support!
Over here. To the rescue! You outran.
Glory unyielding! Too much?
Odin has been magnificent. Sadly, he and Elise will both have to ride the pine for a little while. They're too good. Other people need some attention too.
Do my best. To the rescue!
Power overflowing!
Let me help.
Whew, tough one.
Shall we kill them? You need a spanking.
Thank you.
I'll play with you.
It's my turn.
I won't forget this.
It's our final turn. Once again, we want Arthur to at least fight beside Korn, if not actually using his support in combat. And we want Mozu and Nyx to do the same. We're also trying to boost Mozu to a good level for promotion, preferably level 15, so we'll feed this kill to her.
Are you scared?
Can't let you do that.
I'll be your shield.
I'll protect you.
Let's do this!
If Selena kills the archer on the bridge, then Azura will be able to sing to her, enabling her to kill the second archer too.
Let's see what you've got. I'm the best. We can do this.
Selena isn't the only one who can get experience from that final archer. Camilla can carry Silas over the wall and drop him, and then Selena can use Silas's dual strike as she goes for the kill.
Fine, I'll protect you.
We have no choice. Don't take all the glory!
Thanks.
Not the most inspiring first level, but we can work with this. That's it, we're all done. Except for one thing we can't afford to forget.
The darkness whispers.
Well, that was fun. We got a lot of training in, we've acquired some great new units, and we picked up some very nice loot.
Listen. Uh-huh. What?
Oh?
No. Takumi. Ah! Yeah.
You know...
Now we embark on a quest for the power of the Rainbow Sage. It sounds like we'll have to liberate his island from Hoshidan control, so we'll probably encounter some familiar faces. I'll see you there.